Okay, very good afternoon, everyone. It's sharp 12 noon. I think it's time to start the meeting. In fact, the classes, my habit is for the meeting only. I hope I'm perfectly audible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect. And going forward, I would request everyone to join before 12 only, for the simple reason that I'm going to share my screen. And naturally, it won't be possible to admit the entrance. Now, see, somebody is asking for entry. It would be difficult to come back to the meeting and then giving the admission. Okay, I think that's all. So let's start the meeting. So good afternoon once again. I hope you have got some ideas, some visibility towards analytics. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Perfect, perfect. So with that anticipation that you have got some understanding, is that a fair assumption? You have got some understanding of what analytics is, or do you want me to spend some time on analytics, please? And please feel free to interact. Please feel free to interact. It's absolutely fine.
So the small brief will do good, sir.
Okay, sure, sure. So let me then. Is there anybody? Let me quickly check. Anybody seeking admission? Yeah, Naveen is seeking admission. Okay, fine. Reshma. So folks, please try to be. Now this is Perth. So tomorrow, yes. You understand, right? The problem if you don't come on time.
Yes, sir. From next time, we'll ensure.
Yeah.
Before 12.
Yeah. So tomorrow's class is from 9. So by 8:59, everybody should be there. Preferably by
Yes, sir.
8:55.
Right, sir.
I think that's all. Okay. So let me give you a brief introduction about analytics before I jump into today's session on business conservation analytics. You have to excuse me, no more entrant, because otherwise I have to keep entering the students and the flow will be missed and the time will be lost. Okay. What analytics is precisely, if I have to say it in 2 words or 2 minutes, it is like you have to analyze the data to generate the business insights in very simple terms. You have to analyze the data to generate actionable insights for the business so that your insights add value to the business. That's the soul of doing analytics. That's what analytics is all about. If I have to throw some more light about how to analyze data, all such stuffs, there are 3 broad ways. You must be knowing those stuffs like descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. What happens in descriptive is that it is more of a kind of business intelligence. Like you are exactly describing what exists in the market, what is there in the market. You are not trying to predict anything, right? So say, for instance, you are doing a kind of competition intelligence. So what are the different price points the competitors are selling? How many customers are they tapping? And many of the industries share some data, like auto industry shared the data like in every month, how many cars of which brands are getting sold. Or you can even scrap the data from the competitors' websites in an, of course, ethical way. There are multiple ways. Anyway, keeping those parts aside, but that is what descriptive analytics is. You are just describing what is there, what is going on in the market. Then comes the predictive analytics, where you are trying to forecast or predict. There is, of course, a slight difference, subtle difference between forecast and predict. Forecast is more of a time series, whereas predict is that based on what we technically call independent variables, which in layman's terms are the factors. Based on some factors, you are predicting a phenomena. Say, for instance, you are predicting sales based on the price, advertisements. Those are kind of predictive analytics. And there is a third piece to it, which is called the prescriptive analytics, which is more of optimization. Say, for instance, let me give an example of marketing budget optimization, for instance. Say you have been given $1 million. You are a kind of marketing manager of a large MNC. How would you allocate this 1 million kitty to the different kinds of promotions, be it the YouTube ad, Google ad, Facebook ad, or even the non-digital like TV, radio, or like that? Am I clear? Is this part clear? As of now, is it clear? Is this basic understanding clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Feel
So
free.
actually, one more thing.
Yeah.
Actually, there's raining heavily, so people are unable to join. So if you could accept just for today,
Okay,
from next
sure.
time it'll be 5
Sure.
minutes.
No worries.
Call.
No worries at all. Okay. Let me
I'm
understand
so
that.
sorry, sir, to
No
interrupt
worries.
you.
No worries. No worries at all. Aman, Rishi. I guess you guys are spread across the country. Classes have not yet started. Physical classes have started or not?
No, 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 sir. It's
Yeah.
not.
So
It
folks
has
are
not
spread
started.
all over. Yeah. So folks are spread all across the country, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's why.
So those who have joined late, for them is please join by 8:55 tomorrow. And that means 5 minutes before the class.
Yes, sir. From next time it will be there.
Perfect. I believe it's done now. Okay. Perfect. And all of you, those who have joined, please interact with me. Otherwise, we had another class. That's why also people learn. Okay, a bit late. Okay, sure. That's fine. That's fine. Then make it at least, dot on time. That means 12 minutes, 12, something like
Yes, sir.
that. Okay. And another thing is that there is the constraint. You must be all knowing the constraint of digital class is that I can't see your faces, right? Though I have kept my video on so that you can see me. That's a kind of better way to connect. But this connect is very important. And to make that connect happen, please interact with me. Please ask me questions. Feel free to stop me and just say it out. Hey, Tuhin, I am not very clear about this part. Can you help me out? This is still not clear. Is that fine with everyone? Please feel free to interact with me.
Yes, sir.
Tell
It
me
is
a big
fine.
yes.
Sure, sir.
Not
Yes,
by
sir.
chat. You can.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Otherwise, that connect doesn't take place, that engagement doesn't take place. It becomes very easy that you will digress, and it also gives me a kind of feeling that I'm speaking to the wall, like that. Perfect. So with that brief intro of analytics, there is a brief intro of me. The first 10 years of my career, I was into academics. I used to teach in the leading business schools of the country, primarily of Delhi NCR. Then I moved to industry, worked in multiple countries, multiple companies in the analytics and AI space only. When I was in the academics also, I used to teach the statistics and analytics, AI. That's my area. Of course, IT is another area of mine. And I joined the IT industry in the analytics field after 10 years of teaching. Worked in multiple companies. The last company before I opened my own company is SE Nielsen. You must be knowing. That's the number one in the marketing research and analytics across the globe. It's number one. I was leading their Southeast Asia business, and then I started my journey as an entrepreneur. Now I have my own company. I have my global business in the space of analytics, AI, robotic process automation, cloud computing, cyber security. In fact, blockchain, of course, big data goes without saying. In fact, the entire industry 4.0 that I cater to. So that's quickly my portfolio, what I do, where I'm coming from, my background. Now, before I go to the next slide, so to make it interactive, you know that today's class is about business conservation and retention analytics. Can you just throw some, and please don't hesitate while you speak with me, whether it will be right, wrong, how people will judge, how sir will judge, doesn't matter. Nobody's here to judge with you. Just tell me that why retention analytics? Why should it matter? Why does it matter? Please share your thoughts. Why retention is important? Any thoughts? You understand the concept of retention, right? Or should I? Or let me do it in this way. Let me tell you what retention analytics or what retention means. First of all, forget about the word analytics. What retention means, and then you will tell me why it matters. Retention means that it is the art or science of ensuring that your customers are not leaving you. That's retention. That same thing holds true in the space of employee as well. Those who are into the HR space, like your employee should not leave you. That's what retention means. The other word or the common parlance in the industry, how we say it is churn, CHURN. That's another way of putting the word retention or churn. But just throw your idea that why retention matters, why it's important.
To reduce the churn rate so that employees won't leave.
Let's put it in this way. Let's put it for the perspective of customers and industry. Now you tell me why retention analytics matter. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, because retention is always cost less than new consumers.
Would you mind naming you, or would you please mention your name so I can see who is?
Sir, Pulkit.
Pulkit. Yeah, please, Pulkit, please go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. Because retention is always, sir, cost less. If we go for new consumers, then it will cost high for any company or organization. And retention of old customer is always cost less.
Very good. Would you please throw, not you, those who have not yet said, just what Pulkit is said, absolutely right. But I would like you to dive further deep. Pulkit said that retention costs less. Any of you could throw light that why it costs less?
So repeat customer gives more business than the new customers.
Okay, elaborate please. What do you mean by get more business? Like, give some examples, real life examples.
Suppose in a Dove shampoo, Dove company, they're selling more. They will earn more from the repeat purchase of the customer rather than making a new customers.
Okay, okay. But Pulkit was saying something different. Though you are correct, what you said is absolutely correct. But I want some more, reasons.
Hello, sir. This is Priyanka here.
Hey, Priyanka, let me.
Yeah, so for new customer, we have to do advertising, and also that becomes expensive. And for retaining a customer, one-time advertisement is sufficient because they already know you. So once they have used your product, they have knowledge that what results the product produce or the service, so they can get back to us, and that's why it costs less, not costless, but it costs less comparatively acquisition.
Right. Fair enough. So there are a lot of marketing costs, not only advertisement, but you're in the right direction. Advertisement is one of the major marketing costs, but there are a lot of marketing costs involved in acquiring new customers. So it is always good to retain your old customers. So here is that slide for that. So these are all from the research. I have not mentioned that from which papers because this is not a kind of a research class, but these are all that pointers that I have taken out from the research papers. Like acquiring a new customers can cost 5 times more than retaining an existing customer. And increasing customer retention by 5% can increase profit by 25 to 95%. Just imagine. And success rate of selling to an existing customers is 60 to 70%, while the success rate of selling to a new customer is only 5 to 20%. So these are all the key reasons that why retention analytics matters. And this is something which we commonly say in an industry parlance, like leaky bucket. Now, if you have a leaky bucket, you understand the meaning of a leaky bucket, right? This picture is self-explanatory. So if you have a leaky bucket, then whatever money you spend on your advertisement, but it will all be wasted after the 1 or 2 purchases. So your cost of acquisition gets higher if you do not mend the leaky bucket. Am I clear here?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Let me just quickly check. Yes, the recording also taking place. Perfect. Okay. Now, so what will happen is that let me also clarify my pedagogy. I'm not going to explain you slide by slide in a monologue way. I rather know very well what is there in the next slide, and I would rather invite your thoughts. I would make you think the way you have thought in your way here, and I shall slowly handhold you to think and create the knowledge by yourself. That way, it won't be a kind of one way or unidirectional teaching and you become the recipient. I rather want you to co-create the knowledge with me. So yeah, you yourself will throw the points, we will discuss and we will see what is the right way. So now you tell me, and don't tell me in the terms of algorithms. Even if some of you know what algorithms, but that is not the interest at the moment. Let me tell you a fundamental aspect of analytics or fundamental requirement of analytics. People think that knowledge of languages like Python, R, or softwares like SAS, SPSS, or some kind of domain knowledge like statistics, IT are mandatory. That's not untrue. That's definitely true. But what's most important in driving analytics is your power of thinking. That's the most important. And of course, we will touch all the other aspects, that primarily we will cultivate all our power of thinking in this class. So and that's why your thinking, sharing of your thoughts, participation, interacting, even challenging me, that's again a very important part. Even challenging me is most welcome. Okay, now my next question. Suppose you don't know any algorithm, nothing is, you are not from statistics background, IT background. You tell me, as a kind of business manager, a client has come to you, or even for your own company, you have to stop the retention. Of course, you have to take some marketing measures, but keeping that part aside, can you develop a solution framework for retention? Now, what do I mean by solution framework? Suppose what all you want to measure, what factors are critical to you. Can you develop a kind of thought process around it? Take a pause and think with me and share your thoughts. Like, what shall I measure? Which factors are important? What should be the flow of the measures? Which should be measured first? Which should be measured after that? Can you share your thoughts for retention analytics? What are important? What are critical? Yes, folks.
Frequency of purchase.
Frequency of purchase. Yeah, I think it's better to, those who are chatting might not be always, it is visible since I'm sharing my screen. So you can speak, you can unmute yourself and speak. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. Yeah, you are saying frequency of purchase. Okay. Anything else that crosses your mind? Anything else? I shall of course elaborate this thought. Anything else? Anything else? What you think are critical to measure for retention? Yeah. Let me elaborate the previous thought. Who was the person? Would you please mention your name? Who shared about frequency?
Pulkit, sir.
Yeah, Pulkit. Yeah, three things are of course important. Besides the frequency, it is the recency, frequency, and monetary. We call it at one shot, the technical name that we use is RFM analysis, recency, frequency, monetary analysis. That means when was the last time a customer purchased? That's the recency part. How frequently the customer purchases? That's of course obviously the frequency. And the monetary, what's the value? But that's one aspect. Are you familiar with a solution framework? Are you familiar with solution design? Yes, no, tell me. Then I shall do the first solution design for you. Then I shall give it to you. You are not. None of you? Are you any of
No,
you?
sir.
No. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. No worries. I understand. Those who are even still joining 12:20, please ensure that a lot of you, in fact, please ensure that you are on time. Okay. So let me walk you through what a solution design looks like. And I was emphasizing on the thinking power. Now, in this slide, you won't find even a single statistical algorithms are there. Even somebody still joining. In this slide, you won't find even a single word is mentioned on statistics. Statistical knowledge, of course, is important. I am coming from a statistics background. Even all your programming languages are important. But without the thinking power, they can never take off. So let me walk you through this solution framework, and then I shall give you a problem to solve. Not now. You can think about that. Consider that's kind of homework for you. You can think of it, and maybe tomorrow you can present. Not a kind of formal PowerPoint presentation, but you can share your thoughts. That's the presentation. So the first thing for retention analytics is predict churn risk and time. You understand the meaning of the word churn risk? Churn risk means what is the probability of a customer leaving my organization. So that's the predicting churn risk. And what is predicting the churn time? When the customer is going to leave my organization. Is this part clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
For everyone, is this step one? Feel free to unmute and say yes, no, whatever.
Yes, sir.
Sir, clear, sir.
Okay. So, people who are, I've seen even in the industry, people who are handicapped of thinking, they just do this part because this has been taught. They don't think beyond. So what will you gain if you predict the churn risk and time? You will get which customers will churn, when, why. How will you get which customers will churn? Because you are getting the probability of every customers. Like probability means within 0 to 1. Say the probability of leaving the organization or probability of leaving your organization is 0.8, 0.9. That means very high probability that the customer will churn. When, of course, I shall discuss. So you are going to also precisely predict that customer X is going to leave your organization with a probability of 0.7 in the next 3 months. In the 4th month, the probability may further increase to 0.8. So in that way, you can also predict the time. Why is again a very important aspect of your analysis. This is just a word, but this word has got huge implications. Implication means that in my first 2 minutes, those who joined early, I discussed about analytics. At that time, I discussed about the different factors, which I technically call the independent variables. I gave the example of different types of promotions, price that leave an impact on the sales. Same thing is for the churn. Same thing is for the churn means that what are the different factors? Is it the competition activity? Your price has increased, your quality has deteriorated, customers are not satisfied for whatever may be the reason, maybe the customer relationship executives or the product quality or the services. There can be several factors. There can be hundreds of factors. By dint of analysis, I can figure out what's the exact impact of each of these factors on the probability of churn. Is this part clear?
Sir, I do have one question.
Please. Your name, please. Whoever will speak, please
Sir,
mention.
my name is Aishwarya.
Yeah, Aishwarya, please go ahead.
So how do we conclude that this will be the probability of the employee leaving? You came to the conclusion that point something will be the probability of the employee leaving the organization. So when an employee leaves the organization, he does not intimate the organization, on what basis you concluded this thing, sir?
Very, very good question. In fact, that is a very fundamental question, I would say. Very fundamental question. And I believe this question is with everyone. This question with everyone. And please ask this question because these are very fundamental things. And you should be clear. You should be clear. Let me do a simple thing to answer your question. Let me quickly draw a table and answer your question. What can I draw? Let me quickly open a Word file. In Excel is better, yeah. Why not? You cannot see my Excel sheet, right?
We can see, sir.
My Excel sheet, right? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can.
Perfect. Of course, nobody will intimate. And by the way, though you can extrapolate this example for the employee churn, but this is true for the customer churn as well. The underlying technology or methods remain the same. Right. So let me do it in this way. I'm just punching some number randomly, and I'm just calculating 7 rows. I'm just showing to you. You can have 700, 7,000, 7 million rows, depending on number of customers. That doesn't matter. Say for example, 0 means the customer who left you, and 1 is the customer who is still with you. Correct? That's how we, and this is becomes your, we technically call it as a kind of dependent variable. This becomes your dependent variable. And dependent variable is binary in nature. Correct? Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? Yes, no?
Yes,
As of
sir.
now?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now you have got several independent variables. You tell me what could be the independent variables? Independent variables का मतलब क्या है? What does that mean? Independent variables means the factors that might leave. Might, what is very important, because you have not yet tested. You are not yet sure. You are just developing the hypothesis. But don't go by that, strong or heavy words like hypothesis. You may get confused. Just simple word that might leave an impact on the customer's decision to leave the organization. So what could be the factors? Say factors can be the service quality, for example.
So price.
Price, yeah, absolutely. Computer activity.
Price, quality.
Yeah. Price. If the price goes up very high, naturally people will leave, right?
After sale services.
After sale service, absolutely. Let me write it as, sorry. So let there be 0, 100 of factors, doesn't matter. But you are getting the concept, correct? Now, say for example, you are measuring these things. Say on a 10-point scale, you are measuring. It can be 2, 5, any random number, doesn't matter. You're getting me? So you are getting some kind of numbers here. You will get the prices here, say 50, 70, can be 1,000 lakhs. After sale service can be 5, 6, or 10 points, whatever. But getting the concept, right? Yes, no, yes, no. Getting the concept as of now?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Anybody who has not understood as of now? I assume nobody. I assume nobody. That means everybody has understood. Okay. So what I can do is that if you have some exposure towards regression, classification is nothing but another form of regression only. So this becomes your binary dependent variable. You have got all the independent variables here, can be hundreds of independent variables, and these rows can be again millions of customers you are having. So if you regress, it can be logistic regression, it can be any classification techniques. I don't want to throw the names at this stage. That will come at a later stage, what algorithms, how to do. But just the concept wise, since I think Aishwarya asked the question here. So what will happen is that you will get an equation. You will get an equation where this becomes your y, or the dependent variable, or forget about the concept called yx. This equals churn or not churn, correct? Is dependent on what kind of regression equation, how does it look like? Y equals to a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2, something like that. Simple, forget about, even if you don't know regression, you know about a straight line equation, y equals to mx plus c, right? So you will get an equation, similar equation here, churn slash not churn equals to, then something into some intercept will be there, equals to a plus some intercept will be there, 5 or 10, whatever, plus some coefficient into service quality, some coefficient into price, some coefficient into after sales service, right? So you are getting an equation. Suppose a new customer comes. New means new customer doesn't mean that new customer comes. New customer means that customer who was not a part of this database. So you will get the customer's response for the service quality, customers happiness with the price, customers comfort zone or comfortable nature with after sales service. And then if you just plug in those values into the equation, you will get a probability of 0.8, 0.9. Is this story clear or not clear? Tell me very frankly.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure
Clear, sir.
there will be someone for whom it is not clear. Almost 50 guys are here. Everybody, is it clear? Tell me very frankly. 45 guys are here today. Tell me very frankly if it is not clear. This is something very fundamental question. Good that you asked the question. I appreciate that. Anyone, it's not clear. Don't hesitate. Nobody is here to judge you. Tell me very frankly. Or do you want me to repeat it once again? Do you want me yes, no? Do you want me to repeat or not required?
Sir, please, if you can repeat it.
Sure. Let me know these things, because you know what happens in an offline class or physical class. I can see your faces. I can get your body language. I can understand that yes, you are understanding it. But in this digital class, I don't have that luxury. I cannot see your body language. I cannot see your face. You have to tell me very clearly. So what we were saying is that, see, you have got the existing pool of customers. Out of the existing customers, some has already left and some are with you. And that is true for the employee as well, correct? Say, for example, the customers who has left you, I gave 0. I just identify them as 0, nothing else. It's a kind of nominal variable. If you remember, you must have done in your research methodology classes, nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio, scale variables. So this is just an example of a nominal variable. So 0 means customers who have left me. 1 means customers who are still with me. Right? Now, I have got several factors. And this is, please remember the question of Aishwarya. That was a very important question. When I was discussing the solution framework, Aishwarya asked me that, how can I get the probability? How could you say that thing? So it is in response to that answer. So this question is equally important as the answer is. So I am getting, even for all the customers who has left me, who has not left me, the customer's view, customer satisfaction with the different parameters, with hundreds of parameters. Then what I shall do is that I shall regress. Regress means what? Even if you don't know the what, it's fine. I can come out with an equation, simple equation, where I'm trying to figure out the impact of all these factors on the dependent variable or the churn, non-churn. Churn / non-churn is the dependent, and I've got several factors like service quality, price, after service, like that, and computer activity, number of the number of say dealers in a locality. This can be all the factors. If you can't find, you may leave, something like that. Or number of salesperson in a store. There can be so many factors. So I can figure out the impact of every factor on churn, non-churn through that equation. So an equation can be formed like y equals to say 25 plus 0.5 into service quality plus 0.8 into price plus 0.9 into after service, like that. Now what you can do, you can suppose a customer has come who is not into your database. A new customer has come. So you have to just take what is the customer's view across these variables. And you have to just plug in, because you have the equation, you know, a churn / non-churn equals 25 plus 0.5 in service quality. The moment you take the value of say 5 of service quality of a new customer who is not here, so 5 into 0.5 plus that intercept will give you the churn probability. Am I clear here?
Yes, sir. You are.
For everyone, any doubt? Any doubt? Please tell
No,
me,
sir.
any doubt? Any questions? I assume no. But if there is, don't hesitate at all. Otherwise, this purpose will be defeated. This purpose is that you understand at the end of the day. You are knowledgeable by some extent. Okay. So predict churn risk and time is step 1. So you can figure out which customers will churn. Answer has been given. When, I have not yet elaborated on this when part. I have just tell you theoretically. I have not shown you with an example. Theoretically means what? The customer is going to leave me after 3 months with a probability of 0.9, or after 4 months with a probability of 0.96. I can tell that very clearly. And why? Means what is the impact of all those factors. So that's the step 1. So what is the outcome I can get? Outcome is the customers with high flight risk at specific time points I can get. So that's the outcome of step 1. Now comes the critical thinking part. As of now, it is a kind of, obviously, I think it is a kind of, obviously you will do that. Weight risk, chart risk and time. What's so great about it? Obviously, of course you will do it. Now, you have to think that not all high flight risk customers are worth retaining. Why? Why? Any thoughts? Though it is mentioned here, but you tell me. Why not all high flight risk customers are worth retaining? Tell me, please. Tell me, please. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Am I audible to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah. I hope you are getting me, right? You're all with me. So I mentioned I have arrived to this part that not all high flight risk customers are worth retaining. Why do you think? What does that mean? This means that all the customers whose probability of leaving the organization is, say, very high, say more than 0.8, not that all of them have to be retained. Why do you think so?
It's a better opportunity or salary.
No. I think first of all, think from the perspective of a customer. Customer, not employee. Don't think of employee. No, you answered the question, better opportunity or salary. That is why a customer is leaving or why an employee is leaving, rather. That's not the question here. Understand the perspective. That's why I'm not just, going it at one flow, because you will be completely at loss. You have to think with me. I gave an argument here. My argument here is that because from here, step 1, I have found out customers with high flight risk at specific time points. High flight risk means what? Customers with high probability of leaving the organization that I can get. Now, not all high flight risk customers are worth retaining. Is this sentence clear to everyone? What does that mean?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Anybody who has not understood this part, this sentence, this phrase? High flight risk customers means customers whose probability of leaving is very high. Worth retaining means it really makes sense to retain them.
Sir, not all customers will give you the same.
Your name, please, first. Your
Hello?
name, please, first.
My name is Ambarishan, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, not all customers give you the same cart value, right? So
Exactly.
some customers,
Exactly.
yeah, some customers purchase really high value products from you. They give you high margins.
Exactly.
So the others don't.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And all of you, I want you to think. It's fine, even if you can't come to the answer. That's absolutely fine. But try to think. Thinking is the most critical thing. If something you will learn at the end of this class, it's the art of thinking, nothing else. So, as she rightly mentioned, you have to also figure out that what is the customer lifetime value that we technically call as CLTV, customer lifetime value. Say some customers Let me give a kind of very odd example. Some customers whose probability of risk is very high, but they have not been a very valuable customer to you. They have purchased very small quantities from you. Then those are not something, something of your interest to you, right? Who are your interest? Customers who have got high lifetime value. So predict the customer lifetime value is very important. So which customers are worth retaining? That means customers whose probability of living is high, as well as who have got a high lifetime value. That means the customers have already purchased some significant amount from you, significant amounts of goods or services from an organization, and that shows, that gives an indication with some amount of probability, a decent amount of probability, you can rather say that these customers are also going to purchase in future. So those are your interest group, customers who have high flight risk as well as who have got high lifetime value. Up to this part, is it clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For everyone, is there anybody who is still not clear? Anybody who wants me to repeat step 2? Perfect. So I assume everybody is understood. Now, it is not over. The game is not yet over. Not all high flight risk and high CLTV customers are worth targeting. Some won't return despite promotion, mind it. So I'm not asking you here the way I have asked you here to think, just think with me, so I can come back. Some won't return despite promotion. Promotion, please understand, promotion requires dollars. Promotions require significant monetary value, demands significant monetary value. You cannot just throw your marketing dollars to those folks who will never respond to you, right? So it's always good to calculate beforehand who are going to respond to my promotions. So what we are going to do with this predicament, that not all high flight risk and high CLTV, so high flight risk we have got from step 1 and high CLTV we have got from step 2 are worth targeting. Some won't return despite promotion. So we are going to the step 3, where we have to predict the propensity of response to promotions. Propensity means what is the probability that somebody will respond to the promotions. And of course, that is being done to figure out which customer decisions can be prevented. That means what? Customers who have somehow decided or made up their mind that yes, I'm going to leave the organization, I can prevent that decision. So I can get a precise list of customers who have, so at the end of this whole solution framework, you have done step 1, step 2, step 3, you have done a lot of things. So you will get a precise list of customers who have high flight risk and high CLTV and high to moderate probability of response to promotions. So those customers are worth targeting. So you have got a very precise funnel and you are focusing your entire marketing dollars, your focus, your attention, all your effort, all your employees are focused towards that target group so that they don't leave you. Now tell me very frankly, first, do you understand what is called a solution framework? Number 2, have you understood this solution framework? Is there any question in this solution framework? And I have not talked anything about the algorithm. In this slide, there is no statistics, no analytics, no IT. This is sheer logic, sheer critical thinking. Tell me if you have any questions here. Any of you, any questions? You're all there, right? 43 students, you're all with me, right?
So we are there.
Perfect, perfect. So Any questions? I can't see who. What is it? Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. No, that is later on. Okay. Any questions? Any questions as of now? Any questions as of now? Did somebody mention something for the chat? Okay. Clear. Agree definition. Okay. Fine. Now let me go to the, not just go to the next slide. Let me go to the next thought process by asking question to you. Forget about the time part. Predict churn risk. I already discussed. There is one way. There is one way. What is the one way I discussed with an Excel sheet? If you remember, churn, non-churn, I have shown to you. I've also shown you the different factors that might leave an impact on the churn risk. Can you think of any other way, any other approach through which you can figure out which particular customers might leave you? There is one approach I have shown to you, right? Can you figure out, can you think any other approach through which you can figure out that which particular customers might leave you? It's very easy, but think about it. Tell me. Any thoughts? Any thoughts? And this doesn't require, again, any analytics knowledge, what I'm asking to you. You don't require any prerequisites of statistics analytics to answer this question. Again, I'm repeating this question. Which customers are going to leave you besides the way I told to you, like 0, 1, churn, non-churn? Can you think of any other way? Any of you? Any of you? Please interact. Feel free.
Sir, Akshay here, sir.
Sir, please tell me.
At some point of time, the customer might not really want the product anymore. At that time, the customer might leave you, sir.
Okay. Okay. That's one of the reasons for sure, but I'm looking for an approach or a way. Okay.
Sir, we can do it by putting the formula for churn rate.
No. Keep all those formula algorithms aside. Just sheer thinking, logic. Tell me the logic. Tell me the logic. Any logic that comes to your mind. Formula algorithm will come. Hold on, will come. But this clarity is required first. But that's again not the answer. When I'm saying approach, the way I believe the concept of solution design. This is called a kind of solution design. In fact, that's always a position you must have seen in every corporate, in any company, solution designer who designs a solution. So those guys do this kind of solution framework, develop solution framework. Now let me also walk you through what's an approach. Now in the next slide, I'm only going to take the step 1, predict churn, risk and time, and I shall take this particular, I shall accomplish this step through multiple approach. And these are the approaches: approach 1, approach 2, approach 3. And every approach has got multiple algorithms. Algorithm will come at a very later stage. What you are saying, formula or algorithm whatsoever, that will come at a much later stage. So we are in the first step of churn risk prediction. So what was an approach? Beside this one, the churn scoring part that I have shown you in an Excel sheet, right? Now, what was the other approach? Say, churner profile in non-churn database. What does that mean? Meditate on these few words. What does that mean? What does a churner profile means? Churner profile means the customers who has left your organization. While they left, what kind of symptoms they have shown? what kind of signals they emitted. Say, for example, an employee who leaves an organization, they start getting a cold. They might not engage themselves in the different meetings. They somehow, let the time fly by. Those are the kind of signals or symptoms they emit. Are you finding similar symptoms, similar signals in your existing customer database? That's the logic. That's the approach. That's what you were doing in the first approach, churner profile in non-churn database or existing customer database. Is this clear? Is this approach clear? Tell me yes, no.
Yes, sir.
For how many of it is not clear? Feel
So
free to interact.
can you again explain this part of non-churned database basically?
Yeah, non-churn means simple. Non-churn is the other word of non-churn means who are not churn. That means who are with you. Who are with you means the existing. इसका मतलब क्या है? Let me give you one more example from the employee only. Suppose after with your experience of 20 years or whatever, 25 years in the industry, I know you are not, but I'm just saying, suppose with the experience that people who develop a mindset of leaving an organization always disengage themselves in the meeting. They don't become that much participative. They don't share their thoughts. They don't take decisions. They take a back seat in most of the critical scenarios. Those are the kind of signals. Are you finding similar kind of behavior pattern in some of your existing customers? That's the meaning. That's the meaning of the churner profile or the churner signals or the churn symptoms in your existing customers. Am I clear here or any questions? Gentleman who has asked me the question, is it clear to you or not? Tell me very frankly.
Yes, it is clear.
Okay. For any of you, it is still not clear? Okay. I assume to everyone, this first approach is clear. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you understand these algorithms come at such a later stage. Algorithms will come at a later stage, much later stage. What I find when I interview the freshers as well as the experienced for my company, I find that they jump to this part that will come at a much later stage. Unless you think through this entire framework and for every step, what kind of approaches you take, jumping to this kind of algorithms is a kind of harakiri, is suicidal. Because why it is suicidal? Then you are making your entire approach, entire framework extremely parochial, extremely narrow. That's why don't jump to the algorithms first. Algorithm will come at the last stage. First, think through the problem. And honestly, there is serious gap, serious dearth of folks who can think through a problem. And before I end the class, after 15-20 minutes, I shall give you a problem, what I want you to think through and develop or share your solution tomorrow. Okay, so that's the approach number one. And modeling techniques are, this is not that difficult, though I shall walk you through the modeling later, subsequent slides. Like k-nearest neighbor, locally sensitive hashing with Hamming distance, whatever these names are. Don't get bogged down with these names. We'll discuss this later. Next part, I already discussed you to churn scoring. That's the question one of you asked me that how, and then I discussed that how you can do the churn scoring. And then these four are only representative. Don't think that only through four techniques only this can be accomplished. In fact, much more than that. In reality, when we do a project, we apply at least 10 algorithms. Mind it, each algorithm we iterate for more than 100 times. Iterations means we run, rerun, rerun a machine learning algorithm so that I can fine tune a model better. so that I can better calibrate a model. That's the concept of iteration, and that's another concept of model comparison. So what happens is that all the applicable models are applied, and then we compare across the model to figure out which particular model is the best fit given a particular problem and given the data. Is this part clear to everyone, or any question what I said? I said something very important actually. I said about model comparisons. I discussed about iterations, model iterations. Is it clear what I said, or any doubt? Ask me. If there's any doubt, ask me what I mentioned. Okay, I assume everybody is understood. And the third approach is the predicting the churn time. Again, a very important part is that how can I predict that when a customer is going to leave my organization? That's the predicting the churn time part. So what happens? I shall discuss this thing. Of course, I shall give you some food for thought, and I want you to do some amount of self-study before coming to the next class tomorrow. But let me also quickly give you some idea about what. Do you know what is this survival analysis, or you don't know? Tell me very frankly. Do you know what this stuff is? Of course, I shall walk you through, but do you have any prior idea?
No, sir.
Okay. And do you guys know these things, or these things are new to you? And accordingly, I shall modify.
We know some of them, sir.
You know some of them. You know some of them.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure logistic regression you know, and decision tree you know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Random forest do you know?
No, sir.
No. Random forest is nothing but ensemble of multiple decision trees. When you are actually stacking multiple decision trees, it becomes random forest. You can Google these things. Of course, I'm here to answer all your questions. I'll clarify you. But do some amount of self-study on what is random forest. Do some amount of self-study on what is ensemble methods or ensemble models, ENSEMBLE. Ensemble methods, which includes the bagging and boosting. Remember these terms, or if you can't remember, write it. Ensemble, bagging, boosting. And when you will study boosting, also do some amount of study on the XG boost or extreme gradient boosting. Do this kind of self-studies. That would help you to appreciate my subsequent sessions better, because I'm going to use these techniques. So predict churn time. Let me explain, and then I shall also discuss you what is this deep learning solution suite is before I end the class. So survival analysis, what happens is that I would say that is the only, not the only. Besides, there is another technique called MANOVA. Besides MANOVA, that's the only technique where you are having more than one dependent variable. So what does that mean? Again, let me come back to the Excel sheet, what I was preparing for the gentleman who asked me the question. So besides this churn and not churn, I shall also insert one more column here, that is the time. That means, nothing but duration. The name of time is duration. Correct. And what I can do here, say the customer who left me, that customer was me with for 9 months. Customer who has not left me is still there for 12 months. Customer who left me was, the duration was 6 months. Customer who's left me, it is fourth customer, it is 7 months, 7 months. And then customer still with me for last 6 months, last 11 months, like that. You are having one more dependent variable, which is the duration in survival analysis. And then you can also do the same thing, regression, which of course is slightly different, which has its own nuances. But you can predict, you can create an equation and predict what is the duration, what is the impact of these factors on the duration. Am I clear? Am I clear? Any question as of now?
Clear, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. from the name itself, survival, you can understand that this concept was in the healthcare industry. Like how much or to what extent a patient will survive given a particular disease. We come out with the different, 9 months, 6 months, 2 months. So the same concept we are extrapolating in the marketing industry. I hope I'm clear, right? Okay. The next, of course, this is something I don't know. Are you exposed to deep learning solution suite? Are you exposed to deep learning? Yes, no?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Not at all.
No.
Okay, okay. So look, I am heavily into deep learning. Not only it doesn't matter whether I am or not, rather I would say that what I'm going to teach to you is also heavily dependent on deep learning. So you have to have a solid knowledge or strong foundation on deep learning, at least conceptually, if not hands-on, but at least conceptually. So before going to the subsequent slides, let me quickly, so what I've done is I anticipated that, I assumed that. So I have put some, in my slides, there is a section in appendix. In the appendix, I have given some kind of, very fundamentals of deep learning, what it means. Like, are you exposed to neural network by any chance? What this stuff is, neural network? Yes, no?
So just the basics.
Yeah,
Just the basics. Just the basics is also fine. That's also fine. So you have got what happens in neural network. You have got the input variables. You have got the output variables, right? And you must be knowing there are different architectures like multi-layer perceptron, MLP, or radial basis function, RAPF. Even if you don't know, it is fine. Don't worry. Even if you don't know these terms, it is fine. The important concept is that the hidden layers were much less at that time. Neural network is not something very new. It was, it was there for decades. Now, at that time, there was no requirement of a deep learning neural network. Deep means nothing but very simple thing. Your hidden layers, number of hidden layers increases. Now, why it was not there? You have to understand the problems that we used to solve. 20 years back, 30 years back, even 10 years back. The problems were mostly this kind of marketing problems, right? Marketing problems, financial problems. I'm talking about the business only. I'm not going beyond the business. Beyond the business, also a lot of social problems, different kind of sports problems it's solved. But in business, it was marketing problems, marketing analytics, financial analytics, supply chain analytics. And a simple neural network with 1 to 5 hidden layers are good enough. But something happened in the last 5 to 10 years. The nature of problems changed. Now you all know what is image analytics, right? You all know the facial recognition techniques. You all know about the speech analytics. You all know about the natural language understanding, not processing I'm talking about. Natural language understanding and natural language generation problems. You all know about the intonation mining problems, or the how I'm saying. You can even understand from that part. You know about the video analytics and surveillance problems. Those problems didn't exist 10 years, 20 years back. So naturally, there was no need to augment this kind of frameworks. So once the problems or this kind of unique problems started emerging, people started to what? Experiment with this kind of existing neural network, and then the deep learning neural network formed. Am I clear with this basic understanding? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I assume that everybody is saying yes. So if you just Google, you will find that these are the different types of architectures. Not that everything you have to understand in detail, but it's good to have some kind of idea that what long short-term memory is. I'm going to use this heavily, by the way, in my next class onwards. What this GRU, gated recurring unit, is, what is autoencoder. At least this kind of architectures exist. What is an architecture? That deep learning architecture, not a kind of IT architecture. That's different. That also I shall discuss maybe in some other class. What is a architecture, technical architecture means. These are the deep learning architecture or neural network architectures. So these are the different kinds of deep convolutional neural network. This is the generative or the GAN, they call generative adversarial network. These are different kind of support vector machine. So these are different kind of architecture, Markov chain with the hidden Markov models, different kind of architecture. Just have a quick glance, not that you have to have a very deep understanding at this stage. But this is the kind of part of your homework. Don't take it, very formal homework, but it is good to have kind of accumulate this knowledge, because in the industry people speak about these things on and off, but then you will be in a position to participate to those discussions, share your thoughts. People will respect you from that perspective. So this is the kind of convolutional neural network. That's how typically been used for image recognition, but also been used for chart analytics. I'll show you how it has been used. So by looking at the picture as an input, it can classify it's an image of a car, truck, van, or bicycle, what it is. That's the kind of CNN model. This is the kind of typical LSTM, which has got the forget gate, update gate, and the output gate. I shall share this tech with you. With I think Akriti, you are the person with whom I'm supposed to share, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you please drop me your email ID after this class? Somewhere
Yes,
maybe.
sir, I'll definitely.
My email ID is there. It is mentioned here. Dr.
Yes.
at the Tuhin.ai. Dr. at the Tuhin.ai. Anybody who has got any kind of problem, feel free to drop me a mail. That's absolutely fine. Please drop me a mail. Okay. So those things you study, and LSTM you study. Remaining things I shall take care. Okay. Before I close the class, before I close this class, let me quickly walk you through what all I have discussed and what you are studying, including the homework. First, let me tell you what is the homework that I am expecting from you. So today you have learned how to design a solution, how to create a solution framework, right? So you think, suppose you are a kind of analytics consultant and you have got a customer has come to you. Say, for example, Lenovo. Lenovo is my customer actually, and that's one of the reasons I'm giving you. I want to see how you think. Suppose they have come to you, Lenovo has come to you, and they are throwing you a problem. Hey, I want to do something about my churn analytics. Can you help me in solving this problem? Can you help me solving this churn? Can you design a solution? That solution doesn't require any analytics knowledge, any algorithm knowledge. That's absolutely fine. No statistics IT is required. But think through the problem. And tomorrow at 9 a.m. when we meet, I expect you to share your thoughts. Yes, this is the way. These are the ways we can solve them. And I want diverse solutions. That, okay, this is the ways. So you develop a kind of, if you want to share a PPT, that's absolutely fine. Just one slide. One slide is good enough. Then present your, share your screen and present. Hey, here is my solution. So I expect you to do that thing. Just, for the simple reason that this is the only opportunity you will get to think through it. So do it. And that is one thing. So what we have learned today, a quick recapitulation. First thing is that we learned about why retention analytics matters, that we have learned. We have learned what is a solution design or how a solution design is framed, and a representative solution design for retention analytics. Please remember, this is not the only solution design. There can be hundreds. There is nothing right or wrong here. There is nothing right or wrong here. Everybody is free to design their own solution. Like you are free to write your own algorithm. Absolutely fine. Most welcome. So similarly, you are free to design your own solution. My request to you would be, don't leave your solution design to a vanilla theoretical exercise only. The way I have not shown you how I have, come to step 2 or step 3, but at least step 1. The first step only, I have divided into 3 approaches, and each approach I am applying multiple algorithms to it, right? So in that way, if you can think through it, that would really help you. That would really help you for your industry work, so that you will be in a position to think through it. Suppose your manager will give you a problem. So when you will present, people will say, yes, that is super, wow. So that thing I want, that yes, you are in a position to think through a problem, think through a business problem, and come out with your own solution. Any question, guys? Any question? And what else you have learned today? I don't know whether you already knew or not, but a very important part is that you should and must, there is no, it is your choice. You should and must apply multiple algorithms. All the applicable algorithms should be applied. You must apply more than one algorithms, and which I shall discuss later stage. There are ways to compare across the algorithms. You must compare across the algorithms that which particular algorithm is the best fit, and that algorithm will go to the production environment. Production means is what? When I said about when a new customer comes, we call it scoring the algorithm. So you will have all the data for a new customer, and then you will do a kind of chart scoring in a production environment. So, but before going there, you should apply multiple algorithms, compare across them, and I mentioned another very important thing. Each algorithm, honestly, even you can see in my website, one of my customers also mentioned very clearly, for each algorithm, we do more than almost 100 iterations. For each algorithm, more than 100 iterations we do. We just don't develop one equation and leave it. We always see that how I can fine tune the parameters, how I can make the predictability of the model higher, the accuracy of the model higher. That's the goal. So that's why we keep fine tuning. We keep increasing the predictable power of the model. So that is another thing you learn, that how to approach a problem. Any thoughts, questions? Any thoughts, questions before I leave? And besides that homework of designing your own framework, own solution rather, please study this deep learning solution suite that I have given you an overview through my appendix slides. It was indeed a pleasure speaking with you all. I liked the way folks asked the question. Do let me know now if you have any question before I end this class.
Sir, can we mark the attendance?
How can I mark? Akriti, you can do it by yourself. I have to ask the
Yes,
names.
sir.
I don't see.
Yes,
Okay,
sir,
you do
we
it.
can meet. Okay.
I leave it to you, right? I leave it completely
All
to you.
right, sir.
So
All
can
right.
we get this your deck and your email ID?
Yeah,
so
of
that
course. That's what I mentioned to also a few minutes back. Akriti will share her email ID and I shall share it with Akriti.
Sure, sir.
That's fine. Yeah. Any other questions you are having? Any thoughts, questions, observations, perspectives? Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir. Take care.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.